Hey guys, Space Jelly here, back with another review. I'm out of my comatose state and now I'm reviewing the Marvel Legends Haslab Giantman. I know that other people have gotten this toy earlier than I have, and I'm late to the party, but you know, better late than never. So I'll have some photos that are using the tape measure to scale him. He should be around 2 feet tall. Right now he's kneeling down because that's the only way I can get him to fit in the review booth. And I should have some photos that also compare him to a few other larger scale figures. And since I can't really do that because he's kneeling down. So might as well just get into it. We can start with some accessories. He comes with the 2 black antennae that you see on his head right now. He comes with these 2 messed up antennae for the zombie head. 2 white ones for a classic style. He has 3 faceplates, and I should have some photos that show you the figure with them on. A neutral face, a snarling angry face, a happy smiling face, and the zombie head. I would prefer it if they give us anything other than the zombie head, but you know, whatever. And I did want to also talk about the face sculpt with this smiling face. Because the cowl is always sculpted with a furrowed brow, and it's a problem with this figure, with like this figure I've been seeing online, that the eyes are not always centered. So he's like looking down with a menacing grin and a furrowed brow, so he just looks kind of evil. He doesn't really look like he's happy in any way. But I want to show you guys something else too with the normal faces. These eyes. So he comes with 4 pairs. Those are the ones that are supposed to be neutral on him right now. He comes with these zombie eyes, and I guess 2 eyes that are looking off to the side, but they both seem to be exactly the same. And these ones are clearly looking completely downwards. They're not really pointing forwards at all. But these zombie ones actually are pointing forwards. If I just put it in this head right here, he's looking relatively forwards, maybe a little bit up too high, but this is way more centered how it's supposed to be, I think, than this one. So I guess I'm gonna have to contact Hasbro to get replacement eyes, which seems to be a trend with this figure, which it shouldn't be because of how stupid expensive it is, but you know, it's what it is. So I guess talking about aesthetics now, he's alright. I think he's using a super modified version of the Vulcan body. I could be mistaken, but he seems to have the same type sculpted muscle groups with the chest and traps, the articulation points and stuff. The shoulders, I'll move his arms down so you can see. The shoulders are still kind of small and kind of far down, and his head is still a bit too big for his body. I guess I can try standing him up. We're just straightening his legs out just so you can see the hips. The hips are not too bad. This part is pretty good. It doesn't use that thing where they make the oblique super big. And straighten out the legs a little bit. I'm gonna have to bring it close, but here. The legs are sculpted okay. The thigh gap is still pretty big. It's not terrible though. And the big problem is that with the knees are super wide, and the calves are kind of skinny, so it kind of makes him look like he has shorter legs when he's supposed to be really tall. And his feet are also really big, which also gives him like a kind of a Fisher-Price action figure kind of look. And also because his hands have all these points of articulation in them, they look way too big for his arms. Like I can straighten it out. You can see just how big his hands are, which is, it's not always a horrible look for a superhero, but if it's supposed to be a relatively realistic type build, I don't know if these giant hands work out so well. But it's not horrible. I'll just put them down again, so show you the paintwork and stuff. The way the faces are done is not horrible. They have nice paint details, and the eyes are also nicely done. He has a like realistic type, I don't know, I guess paint. It could be like the digital stuff on his face. These white panels are sculpted. These straps are sculpted. Throughout the body, he does have a okay looking shading. I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring a light up closer. Some in his shoulder, some in his bicep, some in the abs. He does have some in the blue parts too. You can probably see right there on his trunks. He has a few darker spots. They look more like black lines though, I don't know why. And also the blue on him is kind of very like super deep blue. I don't know if he's always supposed to have like a super deep dark blue as his color scheme, because on the packaging it's close, but it's not quite this dark, but you know, it's not horrible. Alright, let me just adjust the camera. So yeah, the sculpting, if we're looking at individual muscle groups, are not horrible. It's not horrible, but altogether, like the head is too big, hands are too big, feet are too big. So it kind of looks like a kid's toy or something. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. There's like old Fisher Price figures and stuff that were articulated, and they had really big hands and feet. And he kind of gives me that vibe, I guess. So yeah, it's not a horrible looking figure. Definitely not the worst looking Marvel Legends. The sculpt work isn't terrible. It just has a few problems with the proportions. Alright, so going into the articulation, he does have a double ball peg for his neck and head, so I can show you it. That's his torso. He seems to lean side to side, not as much as I'd like. He looks up pretty good. It's not bad. Looking down, it's okay. I think I would have liked him to look down a little bit more because of how big he is. He's typically just going to be above all the other figures. So you're always trying to look down more with bigger figures. His antenna move, I guess that's a point of articulation. Full rotation. Going down to his shoulders. He does have the butterfly joints, or the shoulder blade joints. They go forward pretty good. It's not bad. And moving back all the way, I think that's it. Yeah, it's pretty good. These aren't bad shoulder blade joints. They're done pretty well, and it doesn't destroy the sculpt too much. Yeah, I think those are actually some pretty decently done shoulder blade joints. Shoulders. They go a bit further than horizontal. Nice ratchet. Rotates all around. Bicep swivels, not bad. Double jointed elbow. It's kind of ugly looking, but it actually has decent enough range. And you can probably see now how big the hand is. It's bigger than his bicep and tricep region. So the wrists rotate and they hinge. I think it's ratchet, or it could just be like a standard type joint or whatever. All the fingers have individually articulated knuckles, so I'll just show you on the thumb. All the fingers have one here, one at the tip of the finger. The thumb moves in and out like this, bends there, and all the joints rotate. The only problem is that these fingers seem to be extremely fragile, and the pegs bind and they're super thin. So I'd highly recommend using like hot water or a blow dryer, because there's a good chance that you can just break the peg off for all of them. Or I just recommend keeping them in a fist shape and nothing else. But you know, if you do heat it up, it's not as bad. It's just that the pegs could still break, so be careful with that. The thumb seems to work okay, though. The thumb doesn't feel so bad when you move it. I should have just made the pegs bigger on all the fingers, or at least done it like the Haslab, Galactus, or Sentinel. Something like that. But, I don't know. For this figure, I probably would have wanted sculpted hands more, along with the articulated hands, but I guess that's asking for too much. It comes with a diaphragm joint. Arcs back that much just using that joint. Goes forward that much just using that joint. Trying not to use the ab crunch. He seems to move side to side a lot more than he moves forward and backward. Not sure why. Alright, now arcing back with the reverse ab crunch that he also has. I'll adjust it. He arcs back a decent amount. It's not too bad. Crunching forward is not too bad. Looks pretty good. I think I would have liked more range, but I think that's it. And no waist twist. He only has it at the torso, and it's not as much as you'd think. This part is kind of getting in the way because it's a free-floating piece. Alright. Down to his hips. You probably heard the ratchets that go outwards. I don't know why they can't go outwards more. I'm pretty sure that the ball where it's supposed to hinge is too close to the pelvis. So you can only go out that far, which is... It's probably not horrible for this guy, but it should still be more, and it always gives you like an awkward sculpted look whenever it does that. So, not the best. Alright, now onto the hips. The hips feel horrible to move. They're like, I don't know if it's binding or what, but there's no ratchets, or I don't think that was a ratchet for that. That was just it moving outwards a bit. But whenever you try to move it up, it kind of, like, there's no ratchets, and it just kind of feels like the ball peg or whatever is binding a bit. It moves back a little bit, forward a little bit. Not the best. Straight down his leg now. Alright. This guy's hard to move. Thigh swivel. Knees double jointed. Not bad range. And I think you can see here, proportioning is not horrible. So, not too bad. Oof, now onto his feet. Let's see if I can do this. He has no boot swivel. Ankles hinge forward. Back pretty nicely, that's not bad. Ankles are on a horrible ankle pivot though. And there's no boot twist, so it kind of sucks. Just can't do that. Yeah. And he has a toe hinge, which I don't know how useful that would be. Probably be impossible to use with this guy. But I don't know. It's there. Oof. Definitely the most of a workout I've ever gotten reviewing an action figure. Alright, so the articulation is pretty much standard fare for Marvel Legends, but just scaled up. The joints are not horrible, and the ratchets don't limit too much posability, so I think the articulation is okay. But I don't think you really would have expected much in terms of articulation if you're getting this guy anyways. He's not really meant for that, but he's still, I think he's good enough of a Giantman, but I just would have preferred if his proportioning was more how it is in the comics. He typically is wider in this area, has a smaller head. He invokes more of like being an actual giant man than this figure. But I think because he's so big, it'll just kind of, give you that illusion of him just being like a giant Marvel Legends figure, which I think is what most people like. I just don't. I just have problems with the eyes and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe for the price point, it's worth it. For me, I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's not the best figure ever, but I think for now, this is probably the best Ant-Man figure or Giant Man figure you can get. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around if you did when I first did my reviews and stuff. It's been a while, and I'm sorry about that. I should be getting back on track now because I got more figures to review and I have a new setup. So yeah, thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I hope you enjoyed the review. And if you didn't, you can leave a dislike and talk about it in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.